What is going on, everyone? Today we're going to do something different. I hurt my knee a couple months ago. Can't skate, I can't run. So today we're gonna look at my first pro model from Alien Workshop and talk about it a little bit. All right, the floating pig. Let's go. Okay, so story starts back in 1991. I was skating for another company, about to turn pro for them. At least that's what they told me. And I had a few graphics drawn up. One by Don Pendleton, one by Alyosha Moore, and one by my friend Ron Patrick, who ran the skate shop I was skating for. Okay, I think I worded that wrong. I didn't have them draw me a graphic. I was like 17, 18 years old. Ollie worked for Assault Skateboards, the company I was skating for, so he drew me a graphic. And then Pendleton was just my friend, so he just drew me a graphic for fun. And then Ron, who owned the skate shop, he drew a graphic too. Sorry, I couldn't find the graphics either. I found the one by Ollie, you can see. If I can find those graphics, I'll put them up. If I can't, oh well. Can't find them. So I quit that company. I was in Massachusetts at the time. I come back to Dayton, where I'm living with Chris Carter, one of the owners of the Alien Workshop. I'm pretty much skating with Mark Heinzman and Rob Dyrdek every day, as I had been before I went to Massachusetts for a skate camp. Thanks, Corey Shaw. Anyhow, I was living with Sarge. I would pick Rob up from, he had a little bit of school left, so I'd pick him up every day after school. We'd go skate, and so we'd get Heinzman out there sometimes. I would film Heinzman too. Some Heinzman clips. I filmed a lot of these clips here. Some classic Dayton spots like Colonel White. I have footage from this time frame from all these spots because we'd film each other at both these spots, but he has all those clips. So I'd used his. There was a couple companies I was talking to, but I wasn't really going how I wanted it. And then Rob was just like, you know, you should skate for the workshop, bro. And I said, okay. And that's how it went. And I don't know if Rob talked to Sarge. I mean, I was living with Sarge, but I don't know if he talked to Hill or Sarge and okayed it with them before he asked me. But that's pretty much how it went down. So I got on the workshop. They had just turned Thomas Morgan pro. And then Scott Conklin and Bo Turner were next up to turn pro, you know. I wasn't really in the cards. They had things mapped out. I just got thrown there in the mix. So I think they told me, you know, you're going to have to wait a little while to get a pro model out. Just got to kick back, relax, chill out. They ran a tight ship. Things were well prepared of when things were going to drop. So that was in the fall of 91, I think. And then in 92, Scott Conklin took a bus from Florida, where he lived in Florida, St. Pete, Madeira Beach, to Dayton to come skate, film, and I think he was coming to go to his first pro contest, which was in New Jersey, but Sarge and Hill didn't have time to drive him out there, so they asked me, can you drive Scott to his first pro contest? And I was like, yeah, I'll drive him out there. So I asked Sarge if I could enter the pro contest too, and he was like, well, this is Scott's, you know, everything was planned. This was Scott's pro announcement in a way. There wasn't social media back then, so him entering his first pro contest was announcing him turning pro, and his model was about to come. But I felt like I wanted to skate in the contest too. I honestly don't remember if I told Sarge that if I felt good, I'm gonna go ahead and enter, or if he just gave me a hard no, you definitely can't enter. But when I got there, I entered, and Scott was cool with it. I mean, Scott's the best dude. He was always really laid back. So I skated in the contest. I got second place in my first pro contest. I'm not even gonna say who got first. Anyhow, I got second place in my first pro contest. I called Sarge. I was like, yo, I got second place. And he didn't seem very hyped. I mean, I messed up his plans. What can I say? So after that, plans for my pro model are announced. And then one day, me and Dyrdek and Mike Hill go to Cincinnati to film. Hill's filming me and Rob. And we hit this 8 or 9 set. And I do a front 360 off of it. Got it. Went up, ran back up the steps, did a back 360 off of it. kind of like squatted, didn't like how I did it. Ran back up, back 360 again, except this time my foot came off my board, and my front foot, and I didn't even know it. And when I landed, it twisted so hard, like the bones popped out of my skin. So I was laying there, and Michael was like, did you scrape your foot earlier? And I was like, no. He was like, don't look down here, you know, your socks are all red, it's bloody. So went to the hospital. Those dudes had to drive back to Dayton, so I had to sit in the hospital for like 24 hours and wait for surgery because the surgeon wasn't around. Yeah, that sucked. So when I saw these graphics for the very first time, I remember it distinctly. I was laying in my bed at home at my parents' house because I had just spent like 4 days in the hospital after surgery. And I got a manila envelope in the mail. I opened it up, and there was the floating pig. You know, this was a crazy time to get my graphics because I had months of physical therapy ahead, and I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to skate the same again. I mean, I wasn't able to skate the same again, but I was still able to skate pretty good. Anyhow, when I saw this graphic, I think my mind was blown. Like, I didn't have a reference point to compare it to because I'd never seen another graphic like it. I didn't know it was a part of a series. Didn't know any of that. All I saw was like a psychedelic floating pig, and I liked it. You know, I had been to Mike Hill's house like 2 years prior, and I saw these paper mache things on his kitchen table, and I knew they were pieces of art, but I didn't know what he was working towards. So it was really interesting to see how all that came about, and then just to see this graphic pop up in the mail. And then to see how he photographed it. They had a whole room, a large format camera. It was huge. These big paper mache graphics would be laid out on, and you know, they'd have a big camera to photograph it. It was neat. Neat. It was neat, bro. Besides the slick, they also had what they called a wood burn graphic, which was like, I think, a sublimated graphic. It was this exact graphic. It was just kind of faint. Like burnt into the wood, maybe. I don't know. I don't have one. I wish I did. But anyhow, I only skated like one of the slicks, these slicks, because I don't like slicks. They were heavy to me, and I like the crispy wood on the pop. So I maybe only skated one of these, but I did like the graphic. One of these slick boards. As far as the shape, I liked it. It's a football shape, tapered on the nose and tail. Let me see. The size is 8.25 width. 31.25 length, 6-inch tail, 7-inch nose, and a 14-inch wheelbase. It's a really fun deck to skate, you guys. Fun shape, yo. And with my first check, all I remember is buying a pair of sneakers, a pair of blue suede Adidas Gazelle, and other sneakers, I'm sure, but those are the ones I remember. Probably some Patrick Ewings.